Toronto's skyline might scream glass and grit, but on November 6, 2025, the pulse of the city thrummed deeper in the quiet corridors of Sunnybrook Health Sciences Centre's Veterans Centre. Prince Harry, stripped of crowns but armoured in purpose, strode in like a storm front, electric and unyielding. This wasn't some polished parade, it was raw, real, a fierce dive into the lives of those who'd stared down hell and come back swinging. At 101, Brenda Reed, a centenarian firecracker with eyes like polished flint, gripped Harry's hand and whispered stories of Spitfires and shattered skies. He didn't flinch. He leaned in, fierce as the frost biting the Maple Leafs flags outside, turning a simple visit into a manifesto for mending the unbreakable. Picture it, the air thick with the scent of fresh paint and aged leather, remnants of lives etched in dog tags and dog-eared letters. Sunnybrook isn't just a hospital. It's a fortress for the forgotten warriors, a place where the ghosts of World War II mingle with the scars of Afghanistan. Harry arrived mid-morning, his stride casual yet coiled, like a panther in chinos. No entourage of sycophants, just a small crew from his Archewell orbit, notebooks swapped for empathy. The energy? Electric, crackling, the kind that hums in your veins and makes you forget the chill of a Toronto November. Veterans, young and weathered, clustered around tables strewn with helmets, once symbols of war's brutal poetry, now canvases for rebellion. He started with the art therapy wing, a sunlit sanctuary where steel meets soul. These aren't your grandma's watercolours. We're talking helmets hammered into halos, visors etched with vines that choke out nightmares. Harry, sleeves rolled up like he was ready to dive into the fray himself, picked up a brush dipped in midnight blue. "This one's got your name on it," he quipped to a grizzled vet named Tom, whose fingers trembled from a decade of desert dust. Tom, pushing 80 with a laugh like gravel under boots, had lost a leg to an IED, but found his fire in these sessions. Harry's strokes were bold, swirls of crimson and gold, evoking sunrises over the Somme, or maybe just the dawn of not giving a damn about yesterday's wounds. The room erupted in that rare, fierce camaraderie, hoots, backslaps, the kind of noise that drowns out the world's white noise. Delve deeper, and you see why this hit like lightning. Sunnybrook's programs aren't fluffy distractions. They're weapons-grade healing, forged in the fire of necessity. Art therapy here transforms the detritus of battle, helmets, dog tags, even shrapnel shards, into talismans of triumph. A study from the Journal of Traumatic Stress, buried in academic dust but blazing with truth, clocks a 30% drop in PTSD symptoms for vets who wield the brush like a bayonet. Harry's no stranger to this alchemy. He's been chasing it since 2014, when he birthed the Invictus Games from the ashes of his own military ghosts. Those games, not pageantry, but a gauntlet where amputees arm wrestle fate and wheelchairs become chariots. Toronto knows the vibe. Host city in 2017, still buzzing from the roar of adaptive sports that left the CN Tower trembling. But yesterday's visit? It peeled back the layers, fierce and unflinching. After the helmets, Harry migrated to the lounge, a cosy bunker of mismatched armchairs and walls, papered in faded photos, grinning GIs in Normandy mud, ARCAF pilots mid-loop over Dieppe. Brenda Reed held court there, her wheelchair a throne, voice a whip-smart crackle undimmed by a century of winters. Born in 1924, she'd served as a cipher clerk, decoding secrets that could topple empires, only to decode her own silence post-war. "Darling," she told Harry, her grip iron despite the years, "war takes your words, but colour gives 'em back." He nodded, eyes fierce with that ginger intensity, sharing a snippet from his own playbook. Nights in Helmond, where the sand whispered doubts louder than artillery. No pity party, just two souls trading war stories like contraband cigarettes, the energy so thick you could bottle it. The vets swarmed him then, a tide of camo jackets and quiet ferocity. There was Marcus, a 35-year-old Afghan vet with tattoos mapping his shrapnel souvenirs, sketching eagles that soared free of IED craters. This place saved my ass, he growled to Harry, who clapped his shoulder with the force of brotherhood. Saved mine too, Harry shot back, voice low and laced with that posh edge-turned punk. They talked tactics, not of foxholes, but of foxing the mine's minefields. Sunnybrook's crew, led by Dr. Lena Vasquez, a neuropsych whiz with a buzz cut and zero tolerance for bullshit, chimed in. Art rewires the brain, she said, fierce as a falcon. It's not therapy, it's takeover. Harry absorbed it, his questions sharp. How do you scale this for the ones still stateside, buried in VA red tape? What's the next helmet hack? The electric hum peaked at lunch, a spread of poutine twisted healthy fries drowned in gravy but laced with gratitude. Harry didn't perch at the head. He dove into the fray, tray in hand, trading barbs with a table of Korean War relics. One, a 98-year-old named Frank with a chest full of ribbons, challenged him to a thumb war. Harry lost, deliberately you suspect, his laugh booming like thunder over Lake Ontario. You're a menace, Frank cackled, and Harry grinned, fierce and free. Takes one to know one. It was moments like these that made the air sing, doing things that actually matter, that make sense in a world gone mad with metrics and memes. No photo ops for the gram, just presence, pure and punishing. As the afternoon unspooled, Harry shadowed a session on resilience murals, massive canvases where vets layered their chaos into cosmos. He contributed a fist, inked in defiant black, punching through storm clouds. For the ones who didn't make it, he murmured, the room falling to a hush that's more raw than silence. The energy, still electric, but now laced with that fierce undercurrent of legacy. Harry's been at this a decade, from London's Warrior Games kickoff to Vancouver's adaptive surf comps, but Toronto felt like home turf. Canada's got that polite ferocity, eh? Sunnybrook, with its 1,200-bed sprawl and a vet program that's treated thousands since '45, really amplified it. Funded by a cocktail of government grit and private fire, think RBC and Manulife tossing millions at mental health, it's, well, a beacon in the fog. Word spread like wildfire through the halls. Harry's here, not as royalty, but as reckoning. Nurses paused mid-shift, peeking through doors with eyes wide as the Peace Tower. A young orderly, fresh from her own tour in Latvia, cornered him for a selfie, not for clout, mind you, but for the kid brother eyeing enlistment. Tell him it's worth it, she urged, voice fierce. Harry did, adding, but come back swinging. The visit wove through memory lanes next. A vault of artifacts, where helmets from Vimy Ridge nestled beside modern Kevlar. He traced a dent from Passchendaele, fingers lingering like a lover's regret. These aren't relics, he said to the curator, a vet-turned-archivist with a limp and a lexicon of lore. They're roadmaps. Fierce truth that, every scar a story, every story a spark. By golden hour, as the sun dipped behind the Don Valley, Harry rapped with a circle share, vets venting victories and venom, him listening like a confessor with a crown of thorns. One woman, a Gulf War sniper with silver streaks, unloaded on the isolation that creeps like frostbite. You get it, she said, locking eyes. He did. His memoir Spare laid it bare, but here it was, flesh and bone. The group's energy crested, electric catharsis, then ebbed into plans. How to beam these helmet hacks global? Harry's nod was a vow. The Duke's engagement with these programs underscores his long-standing commitment to innovative approaches in veteran care. Damn right it does. Wonderful, wild, a fierce forge for futures unbroken. Stepping out into the crisp dusk, Harry paused at the cenotaph out front, poppy pinned fierce against his lapel. Remembrance Day loomed, November 11th, a heartbeat away, and this visit, prelude to the roar. Toronto's streets buzzed oblivious, but inside Sunnybrook, ripples spread, vets texting kin, you got to try this shit. Global news caught the glow, Toronto Star splashed the soul, but the real ink. It's in the helmets, now humming with Harry's heat. This wasn't charity, it was charge. Harry left Toronto not lighter, but loaded, fierce fuel for the fights ahead. Sunnybrook stands taller, its vets unbowed, the energy electric as ever. In a world that chews heroes and spits bones, here's a man who spits back fire. Helmets off to that.